What if the most powerful thing that you could do today was to stop fighting? What if peace, clarity, and even progress didn't require effort, but release? You don't have to force your way through life. You don't have to struggle to prove your worth. You were born powerful. And like water, your strength is in your stillness, your softness, your flow. Today's episode will remind us of that truth. Welcome back to the Think It So podcast, where we affirm that what we think we become and what we speak, we create. I'm Robinette, and today I want to talk about something that has changed how I heal, how I navigate challenging times, and how I show up in this world. And that's the law of non-resistance. It may sound counterintuitive at first, especially since we're in a culture that teaches us to hustle, to fight, to overcome everything with great effort. But there is another way. Non-resistance isn't passivity. It's power. It's presence. It's the ability to meet life, even in chaos, with alignment instead of reaction. And in this moment, when so much around us is uncertain, when systems feel shaky and headlines are heavy, it's more important than ever for us to remember who we truly are. We are powerful, brilliant, creative beings with the ability to choose, to heal, and to rise from within. I know many of us were taught to seek our strength from some invisible force outside of ourselves, something that's far away, unknowable, unreachable. But the truth is, that invisible force is within us. The same forces that are trying so hard to divide us now, that are trying to diminish our worth, these are the same forces that once convinced us that we had no power to begin with. They never had our best interests in mind. But our healing and our truth and our power, that has all been within us all along. So when these outside forces try to divide or diminish us, our greatest protection is to reclaim what no one can take from us. And that is our conscious awareness of the power within us. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed, tense, reactive, this podcast is for you. We're not talking about giving up. We're talking about letting go of what weakens us so we can return to what strengthens us. Let's begin. Resistance is a trap. Non-resistance is alignment. We've been conditioned to fight for to fight illness, to fight injustice, to fight to be seen, to fight to be safe, to fight to be considered equal. And while it all sounds noble, here's the truth. Fighting is rooted in fear. It's rooted in struggle, in separation. The moment we fight something, we are silently saying, this thing has power over me. And what does your body do when it thinks you're in danger? It braces, it tightens, your breath shortens, your muscles lock, your blood flow shifts, even your cells whisper, we're not safe. And that signal interrupts healing. But it's not just the body. Resistance shows up in every part of our lives. It's worrying about things you can't control. It's overthinking every decision because you're afraid of making the wrong one. It's trying to force someone to see your value, or it's trying to change someone else's behavior. It's bracing for the worst even when nothing bad has happened. That's all resistance. Resistance is saying, I want peace while rehearsing every possible way that things could fall apart. It's wanting love but putting up walls because of past hurts. It's waking up anxious because deep down you believe that struggle is normal and ease is suspicious. We've all done it, and we do it not because we're broken, but because we have been conditioned to believe that struggle is strength. But here's the truth. Resistance tightens your energy. It tells your nervous system that you're unsafe. It shuts down your creativity. It blocks the good from flowing to you. And the moment you resist something, you give it power over you. But the moment you relax and release and return to presence, you remember who you truly are. See, healing, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, it needs safety. It needs softness. It needs stillness. So what if instead of resisting what's happening, you listened? What if the discomfort wasn't an enemy to fight, but a message to receive? What if you said, I allow my body to heal. I allow this energy to move through me and dissolve. That's non-resistance, and that's power. There's a Taoist teaching that says, be like water. It nourishes all things without trying. It flows to low places that others avoid. It does not resist, and yet it transforms. That's the essence of non-resistance. Picture a stream of water. As it flows, it doesn't attack the rocks in its path. It doesn't scream, why are you in my way? It simply flows around them and keeps going. And over time, that same gentle stream wears those rocks smooth. No force, no struggle, just steady flow. Water is soft, but it's also powerful. It doesn't fight, but it reshapes landscapes. It doesn't compete, but it supports life. When you stop pushing and start allowing, your energy becomes magnetic. When you stop clenching and start breathing, your mind clears. When you stop rehearsing pain and start embodying peace, healing begins. And this applies not just to the body, but to money, to relationships, to careers, and to your self-worth. It applies to everything. When we stop trying to force our way through life and instead align with the current of well-being that's already flowing toward us, we reclaim our power. Not through control, but through cooperation. So we should be like water. Gentle, adaptable, and unstoppable. You can ask yourself this question today. Where am I trying to force something right now? And what would it feel like to let it flow instead? See, there's a quiet power within you, within all of us. It's deeper than our thoughts and it's stronger than our will. It doesn't shout, it doesn't push. It waits for our invitation. In moments of resistance, when we're feeling overwhelmed or afraid or unsure, we don't have to figure it all out on our own. We can go within and ask for help. Not with begging or desperation, but with declaration and trust. Here's how I ask for peace. I say, Infinite Spirit, which is me, open the way for peace to guide me today. When I ask for clarity, I say my mastermind knows exactly what to do and how to do it, and it tells me now. I ask for healing by saying the power within me restores my body to its divine, perfect pattern, and I am whole. And for guidance, I say the wisdom within me guides me to the right and perfect solution for my highest and greatest good. And then I allow myself to receive. I affirm my declarations by saying, just as the sun rises each day, the answer will rise within me. And sometimes the answer doesn't come right away. But I've learned that if I stay with it, if I keep asking from a place of trust and knowing, something always rises. Help always comes. Not as lightning bolts or loud signs, but as a gentle nudge or a softened heart towards something, or an illuminated path that you know this is the right way to go. This is not fantasy. This is law. You are always connected to the source of wisdom and love within. And that source responds to our invitation. We don't have to fight. We just have to align and ask. I want to share a moment from my own life when I needed clarity. I didn't have all the answers, but deep down I knew that there was something more that I needed to understand. There was a time when I was experiencing a debilitating and traumatic physical condition that I felt like it had complete control over me. I sought every diagnosis, I chased every doctor, and for a while I believed that everything they said about my body was true, including that I would have to manage this condition forever. But the wisdom inside of me knew better. And it reminded me of a seed that someone had planted in the garden of my mind many years earlier. They said, whatever you have, you don't have to keep. And that phrase came back to my awareness, and it cracked something open in me. And I would not rest until I found out what it was that I needed to understand. I came to realize that the flare-ups that I was having didn't even match the diagnosis I was giving. So I stopped accepting that label. I stopped resisting the symptoms, and I started listening to what my body was trying to tell me. And I would go within and I would ask for the guidance that I needed. I said, Infinite Spirit, which is me, open the way for me to know the true cause of this experience today. And I always say today because I know that there is only now. And I would sit for 5 or 10 minutes each time, and I would affirm, just like before, that just as the sun rises each day, the answer will arise within my conscious awareness. And one day at work, I felt a nudge to do a bit of research, and I followed it. And I landed on a page that listed all the possible diagnoses the doctor had mentioned once before. And there, plain as day, was the exact checklist that he used to give me the diagnosis he gave me. But based on my later test results, that original diagnosis no longer applied. So armed with that clarity, I was able to see that these flare-ups were not random. They were responsive, and I had influence over them. With consistent intention and inner alignment, I realized that I could reduce their frequency, and eventually I could release them completely. That was my confirmation, not just medically, but intuitively. That was my body's way of teaching me healing begins where resistance ends. And the same is true for every area of our lives. And here's the thing. This isn't the only time this has happened. Time and again, when I ask for guidance, I am always led to the right person, the right page, or the right realization. And you can be too. You have access to the same clarity, the same power. But you must be willing to pause and to breathe and to ask and to trust in yourself. Your body isn't betraying you, it's speaking to you. That was the biggest shift for me, realizing that my body wasn't working against me, it was communicating with me. And once I stopped resisting, stopped labeling it as a problem to fight, then I could listen. And in the silence, I learned that it's full of answers. I learned that asking inwardly opens the way for wisdom to rise up. And I learned that healing doesn't come through struggle, it comes through surrender. See, the power we seek isn't somewhere out there. It's within us, waiting to be heard, waiting to be trusted. And now I know that sitting still and tuning inward sounds lovely. I understand that, and it is lovely. But when you're in the midst of a painful flare-up or a wave of anxiety or your mental fog from stress, in those moments, even one conscious breath can feel out of reach. I understand that too. So sometimes you need to calm your body before you can access the wisdom within. You need to calm your mind too. The body must feel safe and at ease. And that might mean take a warm bath or a warm shower, stretch your body, use a tool like a crystal, or practice, or even pain medication to soothe your symptoms. Or just let yourself have a good cry. Do what you need to do, not to avoid your truth, but to prepare to receive it. And while you do whatever it is you do, speak to yourself, talk to your body as if it's listening, because it is. Tell your mind to relax. Tell your body that it's okay to relax and that it's safe. And remind yourself that I am whole, I am healing, I am loved. Just as a child needs encouragement to feel secure, your inner child needs your voice of kindness. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love, because you are someone who is worthy of love. When your nervous system is regulated, when your body stops screaming for relief, that's when the true listening begins. And in that space, in that quiet, you will remember that you are not the pain and you are not the diagnosis. You are not your body, and you are not the chaos that might be happening in the world or in your body. You are the witness of it all. The one who can choose to respond rather than react. The one who can sit in quiet trust and let the answers rise up. This is called spiritual power. Not because it's mystical, but because it returns your energy to you. If this way of being, this practice of tuning inward and sitting in silence and listening, if it all feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable, you're not alone. It takes time. We live in a world that trains us to seek answers outside of ourselves. So sitting quietly, asking, listening, it might feel foreign at first. That's okay. If you can sit for 5 minutes today instead of 10, that's still sacred time. If your mind wanders or you forget what you were asking for, be kind to yourself. This isn't about perfection, it's about presence. Never give up on yourself. Never give up on that power waiting within you. If you continue to try, continue to practice, eventually this will become natural, because it is natural. And soon, without even realizing it, you'll begin to seek first that quiet space within, that inner kingdom where peace and clarity and guidance are always available. Because you're not learning something new. You're remembering what's always been available to you. Reclaiming your inner power is not a retreat from the world. It's preparation to rise in this world. So even as the outer world trembles, you don't have to, because you have that peace within. So stand strong in your softness and flow in your truth. Lead with love, but start by loving yourself. Deep within each of us lives a divine intelligence, the same life-giving force that bursts galaxies and flows through every river, every stream, every wave that kisses the shore. It doesn't shout from outside, it whispers from within. And when we're still enough, something awakens within us. We realize that this quiet power isn't just beside us, it is us. It's our truest self, more real, more radiant, more whole than any story we've ever presented as. This is the divine life within each of us, the higher energy that calls us to truth, to healing, to alignment. And the real salvation, the real freedom, is becoming aware of it. The real power, the real flex. So if this message brought you back to center, share it with someone who may need that same return. Click the like button below, follow the podcast, and leave a review. Help to ripple this message out into the world. And always remember that what you think, you become. And what you speak, you create. So whatever you desire your truth to be, think it so, and it will be.